I start this video asking the simple question, can you see through my glasses? I have glasses, and I have glasses. This is the story of an ordinary day that became quite extraordinary, beyond comprehension, actually. So, this ordinary day began back in the fall of 2017, whilst I was attending a wedding of my brother-in-law. His stepdaughter was getting married, and the ceremony took place on the Gulf of Mexico, right on the beach. In fact, as the rising tide came up, it almost washed into the bride's and groom's feet, well shod, of course, for the ceremony. And, of course, positioned to their left, the maids, and to the right, the groomsmen. And the ceremony was completed. It reached fruition. And then we walked across the sand in a wooden planked little bridge, about 200 yards from the Gulf of Mexico beach. And it was like a large tent, and the breeze was rather fresh off of the Gulf, and it was flapping the tent flaps mightily, blowing everything that was not heavy off the tables, but that was irrelevant, really. It was just a great ceremony. So we began to carouse, to drink, to music, and of course to dance. And as we enjoyed this, all of this foregoing, with that warm, brisk Gulf breeze, we found ourselves with a particularly popular song, dancing in a like a conga line that was formed into a large circle that encompassed what had become the dance floor underneath the tent. It was kind of like a conga line, but it wasn't really. We were just moving to the music and just enjoying, the whole experience. It's the best wedding I've ever been to. And we kept doing this, and then suddenly, for some inexplicable reason, I found myself out of that line, that circle, and with dancing with what I learned much later was the maid of honor. During the ceremony, I didn't even notice her, which is bizarre, but I ended up dancing with her, and I was like arm in arm with her, and I felt her silky skin, her feel, her shiny hair, her lips, her nose, her everything about her. My goodness, I think I was 3.5 feet deep into her eyes. I was like totally transfixed, absorbed, uh, with somebody that I didn't even notice that was just to the left of the bride less than an hour and a half, an hour ago. Never noticed her. But I did then. And I remember we were just dancing in this circle, and I was absorbed into what was indescribable with the English language. You know, thousands of years of the English language, and you can't even describe it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But I can't even remember how long we danced. I can't. I just lost track of time. Time ceased to exist. And we danced for moments or whatever it was. I can't even remember. And I remember that the bride's mother tapping me on the shoulder saying, "Hey, you got to come dance with the bride." And I'm like, okay. And I did. And then I sat down and I went back to my ordinary life. It wasn't until much later that I found out that whom I was dancing with was the maid of honor, which, I'll be honest with you, I could not exactly remember of the 5 or 6 that were in that, bridesmaid's line, which one it was. It was like, I was looking at her and I was feeling her, but despite all that, I was not, it's hard to explain. I didn't even know or notice who I was dancing with. It was just like bizarre. It was like I'd entered a different realm, and it was like time no longer mattered, and these moments and this overwhelming sense of like, this is magic. This was, it was great. You know, we live our lives, and we have spectacular moments in our lives, and this was much more greater. It was beyond comprehension, beyond explanation in the English language. It really is. It was totally magical. I don't expect to ever hear from her again, and I won't try to contact her, nor should I really. But oh my goodness, I was like, oh, I experienced something in my life that I had heretofore never had, and probably never will again. But good God, I'm glad I had it. God, was it magical. I can't even say it was a magical male to female attraction, because that was not it. It was not even close to it. It was like I was staring into her eyes, and that flowered ring, and her shiny hair, and the soft feel of her skin. it's all I noticed. It's all I perceived. I was transfixed, I guess. I had elevated to a different dimension or something. And when the bride's mother tapped me on the shoulder saying, "Hey, you need to dance with the bride," I guess that's the last I'll ever see of her. And I could walk by her on the street today and I probably wouldn't even know her. It was just, I don't know, it was magical. It was just unbelievable. And, you know, you expect good things to happen, great things to happen, spectacular things to happen in your life. This was way beyond that. But God, am I glad I had it. Oh, man, you talk about, I guess, the best feeling that a man or woman could ever have. But it was only for moments. I don't even know how long. Could have been half a minute, could have been a minute, could have been, I don't know. I was lost. I was absorbed. Different dimension. And after the ceremony, you know, I was looking at the pictures of the actual wedding ceremony on the beach, and I didn't even know she was the maid of honor until I guess, given the top of her gown, I ruled others out. She was, I guess, unique, but I didn't notice her during the ceremony, which shocked me. I've been accused of being aloof, but not that aloof, I hope. Maybe I am. I don't know. But, my goodness, I'm glad it happened. I had, just for seconds, at least seconds, I know seconds, I had the ultimate feeling that a man can have for a woman. And I can't even, I might be able to guess, you know, how she looks. I remember how she feels, and I remember that ring of flowers crowned on her shiny hair, and her eyes. I was 3.5 feet deep in them, and I guess it's beyond recognition, and also thousands of years of the English language and description. But, you don't expect to have those kind of moments, but I'm glad I did. And that's the end of my story. To me, more than a happy story, it's one that's unbelievable, beyond comprehension. The end.